Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We would like to welcome His Holiness Devamrita Maharaj to our eastern suburbs. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for coming here. For those who have not met Maharaj before, Maharaj is Prabhupada's disciple. Maharaj met Srila Prabhupada in the US. Maharaj was born in New York to a very devout Christian family, where Maharaj's mother prayed for a divine son to appear in their family. And from very young age, Maharaj used to do services in the church. And then Maharaj went to study at Yale University. Yale University is one of the 5 top-ranking universities in America, along with the alumni has presidents of the US coming from the same university. And Maharaj was searching for truth, and Maharaj came across Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. And Maharaj took initiation and joined Iskcon in 1973. And ever since, Maharaj has been traveling around the world. Since Prabhupada's departure, Maharaj has continued the movement, preaching all around the world, especially in communist countries, taking all the risk. Maharaj preached undercover in those places. We're so fortunate to have Maharaj here amongst us, and Maharaj continues to give lectures around the world, different universities such as IITs, Harvard, Yale University. We're so fortunate to have Maharaj addressing us here today, and I would really like to welcome Maharaj again by saying Hari Bol 3 times. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol!
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We've gathered here to glorify Lord Sri Krishna. And in doing so, our hearts become transformed, our intelligence becomes purified, and we can actually begin to taste what is real spiritual life. Just like when you sit down for a good meal, you become nourished, you become satisfied. Similarly, when you partake of discussions, talks about Krishna, you can actually taste the spiritual dimension. Talks about Krishna are not different from Krishna. If someone talks about you or me, that doesn't mean that we'll be present in those talks. But when you talk about Krishna, especially among practicing devotees, Krishna is present. So this is why we say that the solution to problems is more Krishna. Now sometimes people think that, oh, that is just inspirational talking, but when it comes to practicalities, what will talking about Krishna do? But when it comes to practicalities, what can you actually do in this temporary, changing material nature? Talks about Krishna offer the supreme welfare work, the greatest gift for humanity. Now, how can that be? As stated right in the 2nd verse of the 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, bhakti uproots the threefold miseries. That is the real solution. What are the threefold miseries? Everyone should know. Miseries pertaining to the body and mind, miseries coming from other living entities, miseries pushed on you by nature, natural calamities. How to get to the root of those and eradicate the root. But we are very proud. We take credit for just counteracting a little misery here, a little misery there. But why not get to the root of all miseries? What do we say then? Oh, that is too much. I've been explaining the past week how you can make a chart. You can diagram, list all the different attempts you make during the day and night to counteract some kind of misery, big or small. It's cold, you put on a coat. It's too hot, you take off your coat. You're hungry, you eat. You're lonely, you want to be around someone. Constant counteraction of problems. 24/7. But we're so forgetful of what is real spiritual pleasure that we take pleasure in just putting on a warm coat when it's cold and then, that's nice. This is not real pleasure. This is just the forgetfulness of suffering temporarily. So 24/7, you'll find yourself trying to counteract this, trying to counteract that, and taking pride in it. The example that Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives, is of trying to empty out the ocean with the palm of your hand. You can scoop some ocean water in the palm, throw it over your shoulder, scoop another, throw it over your shoulder behind you. Have you actually made any progress in emptying out the ocean? Yes, you scooped some water. Then you may say, let us be technological. Let's get an electric pump, and we'll pump out the ocean. Or let's get a bucket brigade, a long line of persons, each one with a bucket. And the first person at the edge of the ocean dips the bucket, passes it down the line, and then you get a fresh bucket, fill it with ocean water, pass it down the line. You think, oh, we are making progress. Look at the pond that we've created behind us. But then look at the ocean, it's still there. So this is the example given by the acharyas to show what is the real solution. Get to the root of the problem, not just counteracting this misery here, that misery there, and another perplexing situation over here. What's the root of all this? So Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam present that the root is forgetfulness of Krishna. Just see the current state of humanity. They're living in a universe in which they have no idea how it began. They say they're alive, that they have life, but they don't know what life is or how life began. And then what about your consciousness? That's the greatest mystery in science. What is consciousness? Where did it come from? Yet people think, oh, we have so much knowledge today. So yes, instead of scooping out the ocean with the palm of your hand and throwing the water over your back shoulder, you can use technology, electric pump, an AI pump. Still, the ocean is there. You haven't made any progress. But instead of looking at the ocean, you look over behind you. Look, we created a lake, a man-made lake. But your goal is to empty out the ocean. You've made no progress whatsoever. So the acharyas use this as an example to point out that human beings should not take pride in just constantly adjusting the material energy. Human beings, with their advanced consciousness, should get to the root of all the miseries. And talking about Krishna cleanses the root problem. purifies the root problem. Yet, we may think, oh, it's very impractical. How can talking about Krishna solve the world's problems? What are the world's problems? They all stem from one thing: forgetfulness of Krishna, forgetfulness of our relationship with Krishna. Bhakti, devotional service to Krishna, is so important, it can't wait for anything. Remember when Srila Prabhupada in Calcutta had his first meeting with his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur? You can still go to this spot in Calcutta on top of a roof. I've been there last year. It's a beautiful temple now. So at that time, Srila Prabhupada was a member of Gandhi's independence movement, very much concerned with the sovereignty of India, the political freedom. So in approaching Srila Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, actually, Srila Prabhupada said he didn't want to go, but his friend convinced him, come on, let's go see. This is a real saintly person, not like so many others you've seen. This is a real one, a real sadhu. So they went. And the first thing Srila Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said to Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Prabhupada, who was just in his 20s. He said, you're an educated person, you should spread the knowledge of Krishna throughout the world, especially in the English language. So what was Srila Prabhupada's response? How many of you have read Lilamrita, Prabhupada Lilamrita? Ah, not so many. So let me remind you or inform you of Srila Prabhupada's response as a participant in Gandhi's independence movement. He told Srila Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, no one will listen to anyone from India until we have political freedom. First, let us have political freedom, and then we can spread the message of Lord Chaitanya. First independence, and then distribution of the mission of Lord Krishna, especially Lord Krishna as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what was Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's answer? Bhakti is so important. Krishna consciousness is so important, it can't wait for anything. But what is the mistake we often make? Yes, I want to be Krishna conscious, but first, I have to do this, I have to do that. We can take inspiration from the example of Maharaj Yadu, the famous predecessor of the Yadu dynasty. His father, Yayati, had a problem. His father had gotten his wife angry. And the father of his wife was very powerful. His name is Shukracharya. Materially very powerful. So Yayati was afraid. I don't want to displease my wife because her father may curse me. So she was angry at him. So Yayati, as she was going to tell her father, she's walking to her father's house, Yayati falls at her feet, even though he's a king. He falls at her feet, massaging her feet, begging her. No, it doesn't work. She informs her father, he has displeased me. What did her father say? He told Yayati, I curse you to be prematurely old and invalid. Yayati was in the prime of his life. Probably in his 20s or 30s, and to be cursed to immediately now become old and sickly. You'll find this in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So what would you do if that happened to you? You're 25, 30 years old, and someone curses you, immediately become like you're 80, 85 years old. So of course, Yayati was devastated. But then his father-in-law began to calculate, Yayati is married to my daughter, and my daughter has not finished her material desires. So if I curse her husband to be prematurely old and invalid, that'll affect my daughter because she's still young, full of material desires. So Shukracharya, the father-in-law of Yayati, began to recalculate. All right, he tells Yayati, you can find someone who will accept your premature old age and invalidity. Trade that to them for their youth. Who's going to make such a deal? Who will accept, when you're in the prime of your youth, are you going to accept someone's old age and sickness? Who would do such a thing? But Shukracharya knew, ask one of your sons. Because in Vedic culture, the sons are supposed to be so obedient to the father, sacrificing everything for the father. So that's what Yayati did. He turned to his sons. He had several sons, and he wanted to know, who will take my old age and invalidity and give me their youth? How many would do this if your father asked? One person, two persons. But in Vedic culture, which is very strict, you're supposed to do whatever your father asks you. So he went, Yayati went to the first son, Yadu, the oldest one. The oldest son in Vedic culture is supposed to be the most responsible, senior to all the other brothers. So Yayati made his presentation. Yadu, please give me your youth. Take my old age and invalidity. What was Yadu's response? No. Isn't that irreligion? To deny the order of the Father? But Yadu is praised for that decision. Why? He was not being selfish. He was not being irreligious. He was not practicing adharma. Yadu knew, I want to fully engage in devotional service. And in order to do that, first I have to go through my family life according to Vedic regulations, not just wildness, but disciplined, structured family life. I have to go through that phase so I can effectively renounce later in life. My goal is to be free of all entanglements, free of all bodily ties. But first I have to go through my phase of attachment, and then come out the other side so I can fully engage in devotional service. So generally, this is the way that the Vedas have arranged. When you're young, generally speaking, not everyone, but when you're young, you first have to go through the phase of regulated attachment, and then when you're 50, in classic Vedic culture, you can retire from family life, assuming that at that time, your oldest son is 25, your daughters are all married in their teenage years, so the husband and wife can retire. Pancha Sordvam Vanam Vajit. When you're 50, according to classic Vedic culture, you retire from family life. Turning 50 is like the yellow light is flashing, letting you know the red light's coming. So Yadu is praised as a hero. He refused the order of his father, yet he is praised as a hero. Because he didn't refuse for material reasons. He refused because he wanted to fully engage in devotional service. And he knew, if I take the old age now, that will push back my timetable. I know my father will give me his youth back at the right time, but it will delay my plan to, in the future, fully absorb myself in devotional service, because I'll become prematurely old and invalid by accepting that from my father. And I know in the future he'll give me the youth back, but that means I'll have to, way in the future, go through the stage of youthful passion. I don't want that. I want to get over it now. So Yadu is praised for making such a decision. But there's an even deeper reason why he refused. Yadu knew, in the future, in my family line, Lord Krishna will appear. So I don't want to delay the appearance of Lord Krishna, who in the future will appear in the Yadu dynasty. So for those two reasons, number one, Yadu wants to fully engage in devotional service. And number two, he knows in the future Krishna will appear in my family line. So let me get my family line going so that Krishna will appear. Those of you who have read first canto, you can remember the prayers by Queen Kunti, who was talking about the various reasons why Krishna appears. She said, some say he appears for this reason, some for that reason. Some say he appears to please his devotee Yadu. So King Yadu is teaching us something. The most important thing is engagement in devotional service. He was looking ahead. I want to fully engage without any restriction. But first I have to go through this family phase. If I take my father's old age and invalidity, that delays my whole program of full absorption in devotional service. Furthermore, Krishna is supposed to appear in my dynasty. I don't want to delay that. So the eldest son refused the father, which in Vedic culture is a big thing. So what could Yayati do? He turned to the next two sons. Please, take my old age and invalidity. Give me your youth. What did they say? No way. Youth is meant for enjoying lusty desires. There's no way we're going to give you our youth. This is irreligion, adharma. They had no motivation for devotional service. They're just refusing out of pure selfishness. Father, how can we give you our youth? We want to enjoy. There's no mention of devotional service. Just, no. We want the pleasures of youthful life. We can't give you our youth. This is very selfish. It's like the thinking of so many persons today. So what could Yayati do? he turned to the youngest son, Puru. He asked Puru, please, give me your youth. I'll give you my old age and invalidity. What was Puru's response? Who can ever repay their father for the gift of this human body? There's one statement, Janame Janame Sabe Pita Matapai, Krishna Guru Nahing Mile Bhajahari Ai. You can get a material father and mother in any species of life, but only as a human being can you get Guru and Krishna. So Puru expressed his gratitude. You've given me a human body. How can I pay my debt back to you? And then Puru began to criticize himself. I am a second-class son. This example is often given in relation to guru and disciple. First-class disciple, second-class disciple, third-class disciple, fourth-class disciple. So what is Puru talking about? Why does Puru criticize himself and say, I'm not a proper son? He explains, first-class son wouldn't have had to been asked by the father. The first-class son would anticipate, oh, I think my father wants this, and he would suggest that. So I'm not a first-class son. I had to wait until my father asked me. I'm second-class. First-class son doesn't need to be asked. He anticipates. Second-class son has to be asked. Third-class son says yes, but very disrespectfully, with a grudge. Oh, why do I have to do this? All right. Fourth-class son says no, just based on material, selfish reasons. So Puru criticized himself, I'm second class. I had to wait to be asked. So Puru willingly gave his youth to his father and took on his father's old age and disease condition. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna makes it clear to all his spiritual children what their program should be. So whether we can anticipate what Krishna wants or we need to be told what Krishna wants, the instruction is there in Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhava mad bhakto majjaji mam namaskuru. Always think of me, become my devotee. Offer everything you have to me, Krishna says. That is the way of true success. So Yadu is glorified even though he said no, because he said no for the principle of engaging in devotional service. That was his goal. Who else did such a thing? Third canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, who knows? 4 Kumaras. At the beginning of the creation, Brahma ordered them, create progeny. Because Brahma is in the charge of Rajoguna, mode of passion. He wants to see the universe populated. Brahma likes to see Prajapatis, those who can generate so many living entities. So he asked the 4 Kumaras, please procreate. And what did the 4 Kumaras say? No. Was that irreligious? They said no because they wanted to remain as little boys without ever reaching puberty so they could simply focus on spiritual knowledge. Brahma, he's tainted by the mode of passion. He tried to control his response, but he was angry. He tried to contain it, but Bhagavatam tells us the anger burst out of his forehead in the form of Rudra. But the point we want to stress here is, just as Yadu, the 4 Kumaras refused for the right reasons. They were rightfully wrong. But all this depends on engagement in devotional service. In the 11th canto Bhagavatam, we read, Devarshi Bhutapta Nrinam Patrinam. Someone who is fully engaged in devotional service has no obligations. Now, we can't take that verse cheaply. We have to make sure, are we fully engaged in devotional service? We cannot use bhakti as an excuse to be irresponsible. But we always should remember what is the topmost responsibility. So 11th canto Bhagavatam explains, anyone who takes birth in this world has obligations. Devarshi Bhutapta Nirnam Patrinam. First of all, to the devatas. They're supplying the sunshine, the rain. So many aspects of nature are supplied by the devatas. And then we're in debt. We're obligated to the sadhus, the rishis, the primeval rishis of the universe, sapta rishis. They are giving us knowledge how to live a peaceful, regulated human life. Bhutas, so many living entities we depend on that are not human. Especially cows, bulls, but so many creatures we depend on. And then up to relatives, family. You all know what that is like. So many family obligations. Nrinam Patrinam, human society should provide peaceful systems for people to gradually elevate to spiritual life in a real human society, which we don't have today. Patrinam, we're in debt to our ancestors. They have started our family line that we're born in. So yes, to live in this world means to be surrounded every way we turn, surrounded by obligation and debt. But for someone who engages fully in devotional service, he or she has no debts, no obligations. So you might ask, well then, what does such a person do? No obligation to this, to that, to that, to that. Such a person acts under guidance of a guru how to fully engage in devotional service, which can be done outside the home or inside the home, at work or outside of work. Just like Arjuna. He's a grihastha, he's a family man, a military man. Yet, he's showing the example how to always think of Krishna and engage in Krishna's service. When Lord Chaitanya was touring South India, he came across one very nice brahmana, because Lord Chaitanya would take lunch at the houses of brahmanas as he toured South India. And so this brahmana invited, please come to my home, take lunch. So Lord Chaitanya came to his house, and the brahmana man worshiped Lord Chaitanya with puja, bathed the feet of Lord Chaitanya, gave the water to all his family members, and then gave Lord Chaitanya lunch. After lunch, he's made an appeal. I can no longer tolerate the waves of family life. It's too much. These obligations, these crises, these complexities of family life, too much. I can't take it anymore. I want to go with you. Let's go. And what was Mahaprabhu's response? Don't talk like that. He gave him the famous instruction. Yare deko tahe koho Krishna upadesh, ama agya guru hoya taru edesh. Wherever you go, whomever you meet, teach the science of Krishna. On my order, become a guru. Then Lord Chaitanya explained, if you do this, I'll come back. In fact, if you do this, you'll always be with me. So it's very interesting. The Brahmana wanted to leave home. I can't take it anymore. These complexities, problems, arguments. Let me go with you. No. In whatever capacity you have, teach the science of Krishna. That is Lord Chaitanya's instruction for everyone. Whether you're born in India, born in Melbourne, born in New York City. Lord Chaitanya didn't tell the Brahmana, only if you're born in South India you should listen to what I'm saying. Just like the sun. The sun rises in the east first, but the sun is for everyone. Similarly, knowledge of Krishna appears in India, but it's meant for everyone in the world. The sun rises first in the east, but that doesn't mean the east owns the sun. The sun is for everyone. And gradually throughout the day, the sun shines on everyone throughout the globe. And so now what you have seen is that on every continent, people are chanting Hare Krishna, reading Bhagavad Gita. That is why we have the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. International, intercontinental. Anyone can take up Lord Chaitanya's order and teach the science of Krishna. So we're very happy to see how the Eastern Suburbs program is developing. And yes, in your own homes, you can make the Krishna conscious atmosphere by increasing the quality of your chanting, your reading, and helping others, reaching out to others to give them the science of Krishna. According to your capacity. Lord Chaitanya did not tell the Brahmana, you have to travel the world. He didn't say that. He didn't say you have to become a sannyasi. He didn't say that. He said, wherever you go, whomever you meet, teach the science of Krishna. Maybe it's just your family. Maybe it's just your neighbors. Whatever your capacity. Now this order of Lord Chaitanya is very important because Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna, is saying the same thing that Krishna says at the end of Bhagavad Gita. When Krishna says, Sarva dharman prityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Give up all your concoctions of what you think is dharma and just do what I say. Surrender to me. Krishna is saying, shut down your plan-making factory and take my plan. And what do we say? Not now. Later, maybe when I'm 90 years old, then I'll take up Krishna's plan. But when you're younger, that is the time for making money and enjoying yourself. Remember, bhakti is so important it can't wait for anything. But that doesn't mean you have to walk away from your home, walk away from your job. No. Whatever you do, put Krishna in the center and show others how to do that. So this refusal by Yadu, this refusal by the Chatusana, the 4 Kumars, is very educational. They did not whimsically or irresponsibly refuse the order of the Father. What they did was praiseworthy because it's all about full engagement in devotional service. You can do that in your home. You can practice spiritual economics at your workplace. How do you practice spiritual economics? Go to work to give, not to get. Generally, you ask someone, why are you going to work? Sometimes they'll tell you the truth. We know what the truth is. You go to work to get money. I ask because sometimes people, they don't want to admit this. They say, oh, I go because I like my job. I go because of this, because of that. I said, no, the real reason you go is because you want the money. Oh, no, it's not like that, Swami. No. We go to work to care for others. We go to work because I like my job. I said, what if they stop paying you? Would you go? But the Krishna Bhakta goes to work to give. To give what? To take the financial resources and give to the family a Krishna-centered life, a bhakti lifestyle. That's going to work to give. Give the bhakti lifestyle to yourself, to your family, and as much of the world as your resources allow. If you have billions, you can invest it to make the whole world Krishna conscious. But if you just have a few dollars, somehow that you can help one person become Krishna conscious. Give them one book. How much does one book cost? How much does one Bhagavad Gita cost? $15. People are out there waiting for such literature. They don't know it, but they're waiting for it. I was explaining at the temple the other day when we were celebrating the distribution of 426 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam for the Bhadra Purnima campaign. So I was explaining what was the first words that I spoke upon my first meeting with a devotee. You heard the announcement made by our wonderful program arranger. He said, oh, he's born in a Christian family. His mother prayed for messenger of God. You know, I bring that up to my mother. I said, just maybe your prayers were realized partially, maybe just a little bit. She said, I meant for Jesus, not Krishna. I told her, next time be more specific. So the first words I said when I ever spoke to a devotee in this lifetime, I walked up to the devotee and said, what do you think? I said, do you have Srimad Bhagavatam? That shows you Krishna is for everyone. That's why we have the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Not the Australian Society for Krishna Consciousness or the Indian Society for Krishna Consciousness, but the International Society, because Krishna is for everyone. So we take pride in what Srila Prabhupada did, taking bhakti, Krishna bhakti, all over the world. And now here you are in the eastern suburbs, and you're expanding the movement of Lord Chaitanya. So remember, Lord Chaitanya is saying the same thing that Krishna says. Krishna says, surrender to me. Lord Chaitanya says, wherever you go, whomever you meet, teach the science of Krishna. It's the same thing. So we have so much work to do to make the world Krishna conscious. So remember, when you go to work, practice spiritual economics. Not that I'm going to work to get money for me, to get this, to get that for me. Use the money to establish a spiritual culture in your home. Everyone should have all of Srila Prabhupada's books. Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar Devotion, all of them. And then help others to have access to this knowledge. If you're rich, you can give so much Krishna conscious opportunities. Prasad, books, festivals. You can organize big meetings like this. You can organize meetings 10 times as big as this, according to your economic capacity. That is spiritual economics. So you don't have to wait like Yadu for Krishna to appear in your family line. Krishna is present as his name. Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. In this age of Kali, Krishna is present as his name. You take his name and you give his name to others. You take Bhagavad Gita and you give Bhagavad Gita to others. That is what Krishna means when he says, surrender to me. All right, any questions? We've covered many different topics tonight. Yadu, Four Kumaras, spiritual economics. Yes?
Prabhuji, on the same topic, when we say that we should work, when I go to work, I feel motivated to grow in my career, right? When I start growing in my career, I feel I'm getting away from God. And then when I go towards God, I feel I'm doing injustice to my work.
Whom are you working for?
I work for money. For sure.
And who is the enjoyer of the money?
All of us. I mean, my family, myself, nobody else.
Use the money to give your family a bhakti lifestyle. And then there are other human beings in this world besides your family. Use your money to help at least a few persons understand the science of Krishna. That is spiritual economics. So you want to expand your career? So expand the spreading of Krishna Bhakti with your resources. Do you know what I did the first time I met a devotee? I asked, do you have Srimad Bhagavatam? First words out, I'd never been to a temple, no bhakti rickshaw, nothing. And what happened to me? You know what happened to me? What? After two such encounters with devotees, even though I had never been to a temple, never been to a bhakti rickshaw, I gave, in today's financial equivalents, $20,000 US. And I was just 21 years old. So what do you think? I was a fool? He's not sure. I'd never been to a temple, never been to a bhakti rickshaw. But I was so impressed by the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and I wanted Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are persons like me waiting everywhere throughout the world. They need your help. So yes, expand your career, make the money, and use it for Krishna's purposes. Become a billionaire and make a big building like this where people can come and hear about Krishna. Otherwise, simply working for yourself, you're piling up karma. And very soon you'll give up that body and you can't take your money with you. So practice spiritual economics. Make money for Krishna. Yes, take care of your family, but taking care of your family, first of all, means give them a spiritual atmosphere. Take them to Mayapur, take them to Vrindavan. She's smiling next to you. Yes, yes. She's thinking, go on talking, Swami. Any other questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, I wanted to ask, when you said Yadu and the 4 Kumaras, they were willing to give their life for their father. And I was thinking if I could do the same. And you said Yadu was willing to give. Yadu said no because of devotional service. And I was thinking for a second that if I will be able to give my life. But then I did not have the thought of devotional service. Generally speaking, I actually thought of material desires. But what did King Yadu and the 4, what qualities did the King Yadu and 4 Kumaras had so that they were able to engage in devotional service? What exceptional qualities they had that the thought that came into their mind was no, that we are going to do the devotional service.
They understood that devotional service is the topmost occupational activity. And it's so important, nothing should delay it. So Yadu was concerned, I become prematurely old, I will get my father's youth back in the my father will give me the youth back in the future, but that delays my absorption in devotional service. So both Yadu and the 4 Kumaras understood that devotional service is the most perfect activity, the solution to all the problems. It uproots the threefold miseries. Okay?
How old were the Yadu and the 4 Kumaras were?
Oh, you have to ask them. I don't know.
Just trying to analyze.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
28. So there's some way that you can do devotional service. Maybe not the same style as King Yadu or the 4 Kumaras, but there's something you can do. There's someone you can help to be Krishna conscious. Somewhere, somehow. Right?
Prabhuji, can you elaborate a bit about Yadu, how he was, and what did he do at that time? Because that's how it is.
You've read Srimad Bhagavatam?
No.
That is the problem. 9th canto. Hare Krishna. Anything else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for this beautiful lecture and enlightening us on Srimad Bhagavatam. We are all aspiring servants. As Srila Prabhupada explained that we are the eternal servitor of Krishna. So we are aspiring servant. So as you mentioned about the first class and second class son, so there's a class in the servants as well. So what is the biggest speed breaker that actually comes in the way, becoming from a third class servant to a first class servant? Why we are not progressing, and why we don't have that mood to serve Krishna, so that as a companion to the first class servant?
We think there is something more important than devotional service to Krishna. We think Krishna Bhakti is some kind of belief. We don't understand that it involves the active engagement of all your senses. Bhakti is dynamic. It involves all your sense activities. Thinking of Krishna, talking of Krishna, hearing Krishna, doing things for Krishna, using your resources for Krishna. It's a full package. But we think, my religion is Krishna. But then when we look at the life, we see that all the energies, all the sense activity is going another direction. So if we actually understand the super excellence of devotional service, we'll see that as the mainstay in our life. So we should always be hungry for devotional service. Just like someone who's greedy wants more and more money, 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 money. Yes, you can be greedy for Krishna. More and more money for Krishna. So bhakti is a full life. It's not a religious belief. It is the active engagement for all your senses, serving the master of the senses. So the more we understand how bhakti is the perfect activity and nothing surpasses it, the more we'll be eager to engage in devotional service, according to the style appropriate for our situation. Family persons have a different style than what a sannyasi does, but we're all trying to serve Krishna. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, if there are no more questions, we can have some kirtan.